Well, I've been talking to my dad, who reminded me that when he was growing up in the 70s and 80s, this is the racist, far-right, fascist violence that they had to deal with growing up. And now we are seeing violence descend upon towns and cities across the country. And we need to call this racist, and we need to call it Islamophobic, because if we don't, we fail to really address what's going on. And language is really important. I noticed that the Daily Telegraph were calling it a counter-protest by Muslims. No, you have one side that is burning down citizens' advice bureaus, libraries, targeting mosques, attacking black and brown people who are walking in their communities, targeting women who are wearing the hijab, and you have others who are defending their communities and standing up when they are finding no other help. So we really need to be quite clear about what's going on. And I have to say that it shouldn't be a surprise that this has happened. There is decades of work by the right-wing press and by politicians who have fanned the flames of this hate. When we look at the role that media outlets like GB News has played, that the Daily Mail has played.
Well, hang on, what has my newspaper done? What has my newspaper done?
So if we look at the front pages of the Daily Mail, and if we look at the language that has been used by outlets like the Daily Mail, and as well as
Can you give me an example? Can you give me an example?
I can give you a number of examples.
Come on, give me one now.
The language around refugees
let's have one now.
and Muslims.
Let's have one now.
Dehumanising. So what I'm saying is there are politicians.
Do you have
there
an example?
There are politicians and there are journalists who have played an active role in fanning the flames of hate and division, and we are seeing that play out.
Just pause for a second, because you did specifically mention the Daily Mail.
Could you tell me what specifically?
Is the specific thing?
I can list a number of headlines to you, Andrew, after the show, because I think this has taken up a lot of time. But what I would say is that media outlets and journalists, as well as politicians, we had a former Home Secretary who referred to refugees as an invasion. We've had Nigel Farage, also on GB News, saying that British Muslims don't have the same values, don't share British values. So when we look at the complicity, we have to be, there's a lot of mirrors that people need to be looking into. And I think also the role that ITV has also played in terms of inviting Nigel Farage, allowing him to rehabilitate his image.